Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Gunshots rang out over the weekend on Detroit's west side. A family says their loved one was hit. Days later, there's still no sign of it. Glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 11. I'm Devin Skillion.
I'm Kimberly Gill. The family of Jermaine Fairley says the shooting happened this past Saturday. Police responded to the scene that day, but they were not able to locate Fairley or anything that could reveal where he is. Pamela Osborne digging into this story for us tonight. She joins us from DPD headquarters with more. Pamela.
And they have been searching ever since. Jermaine's family says they've called hospitals, they've called the morgue. They do not believe that he is still alive, but they are desperate to find out what happened to him after he was shot.
Give me my son's body. Let me bury my son. Why must we keep... Why we gotta keep searching and they know where he's at?
Tamika Fairley wanted to speak with us at the last place she knew her son was alive.
As I was leaving work, I get a phone call from the lady from the gas station. She told me my son was shot.
The woman directed her here to this home on Wildermere and Puritan on the city's west side.
A pile of blood going up along the side of this house was puddles of blood tracings as well.
She believes the blood belonged to her son, Jermaine Fairley.
And he got shot with a bunch of people here. Everybody just up, left, led the scene, just ran off.
Jermaine lived down the street. Tamika says he was hanging out here with friends Saturday after a repass. Those friends aren't talking, and even more concerning, Jermaine's car was found burning outside an abandoned building 5 miles away.
It was confirmed by the cops that that was his car, but his body was not in the car.
In the 2 days since,
we've been looking everywhere. Abandoned houses, abandoned buildings, empty fields, lots, houses like that torn down with bushes and everything.
They still have not been able to find the 28-year-old father of 5.
He seen the rope and the cops and the crimes. He said, well, my daddy got shot. Is my daddy okay? What do you tell a 3-year-old?
There really are no words, except they desperately want to bring him back home for a proper burial.
Like, we just need the public to speak up or help. Like, every eye's a good eye right now.
And I reached out to Detroit police. They tell me the Major Crimes Division is investigating. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. Reporting live tonight outside of DPD headquarters, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
All right, Pam.
For the first time, we have a chance to see how Jennifer and James Crumbley reacted when they found out their son was responsible for the Oxford High School shooting.
This as we're in day 3 of the trial of Jennifer Crumbley. Both parents charged with involuntary manslaughter in connection with their son's actions. Mara McDonald is live from the newsroom tonight. Mara, a veteran detective describes their behavior as quote-unquote atypical.
He sure does, Kimberly, and it's very interesting. He wasn't allowed to expound on what he meant. It led to a kind of heated exchange in court. Let me show you. This is Sheriff's Department video. Jennifer and James Crumbley are on it, in with detectives immediately following the Oxford school shooting and finding out their son was responsible and had been taken into custody. Now, the sheriffs start asking, what could have led to this? Jennifer Crumbley speaks.
Did you probably have a lawyer? That's up to you. I think we touched him there. I think we can speak to the cops.
Her husband, James, tells the detectives he's freaking out over the news and continues to answer their questions. When they are allowed to see their son, they enter the room and just stare at him. Nothing is said until they leave.
Why? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
After that video was shown in court, prosecutors wanted to hear the detectives' thoughts on the Crumbley's behavior.
And you described the defendant's demeanor as atypical.
Correct.
Okay, and tell us why.
Your Honor, I would object as to this witness's opinion when the jury can see what's in the video. Every person in life reacts differently.
Jennifer Crumbley's attorney, Shannon Smith, was successful in shutting down that line of questioning. Back here live, the other thing that was interesting in court today, we heard from the counselor at Oxford High School who dealt with the shooter, who said that there were all sorts of red flags weeks and months ahead of time. And after the decision was made to allow him back into class, he was asked, okay, so what was your follow-up plan? And he told the court that he was going to talk to the student the next day. And if his parents hadn't made any sort of psychological help available to him, he was going to call Child Protective Services. We're live in the newsroom. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara, and you can tune in to live testimony anytime during the trial on Local 4 Plus and our website. We're streaming it all on clickondetroit.com. Also bringing you expert analysis during the case. If you don't have Local 4 Plus, download the app wherever you stream your news content.
All right, turning now for a first look at the forecast. Quiet out there, touch chilly, and we could really use some sunshine.
Well, first, Kim Adams tracking a wintry mix coming our way. Kim?
I know, and it's a morning commute issue on the west side. East side, I'll show you the timeline. You might get through most of the morning commute before that moves in. Right now, downtown, just cloudy skies. It's freezing, 32 degrees, and just dropped down to 31 in Howell, Pontiac, and also in Adrian. We're watching snow showers up to the north move across the UP. They were in Marquette this afternoon. Now Sault Ste. Marie, Mackinac, Traverse City getting some light snow. This is what's called a clipper system, and it does just that. It clips us. Typically, clippers this time of year will put down about an inch or two, and that's what we're expecting tomorrow. Timing. Now, this can be adjusted 30, 40 minutes either way, but at this point, it looks like between 7 and 9 a.m., there'll be an onset of a rain-snow mix, mostly snow, but a little rain mixed in from the west side over to the east side. Then between 9 and 2, snow showers could add up a bit, again, to about an inch or two. And then between 2 and 4, that snow tapers down. So it's a very short event, but as we've seen before, it only takes an inch or two of snow to make those roads slippery. So we'll talk more about that coming up. And the search for sunshine continues. It's in the 7-day forecast, though. It's within sight. I'll tell you when coming up.
All right, Kim, been a rough 24 hours, right, for Detroit fans. A lot of us still replaying. We're just doing it in the newsroom again, replaying last night's game moment by moment and thinking of what could have been.
What if?
Seemed like it was
what
coming.
If? Yes. Yeah. Jamie Edmonds in for Bernie tonight. It was a great season, but certainly a bitter end.
Oh, a brutal way to end a wonderful, magical run with so much hope, a 17-point halftime lead, and then all of the blunders in that second half. It certainly feels like an opportunity slipped by. But you have to admit, amazing run. The Lions have a young core of rookies who now have playoff experience. You have a solid QB. You have to imagine the Lions get a deal done for Jared Goff. And you have a head coach who is a master motivator. Do they need to add some pieces? They sure do. Dan Campbell said today who they bring in is very important.
They got to be a certain way, and there's got to be a certain mindset and a certain identity. And we have that with our core. And we got to add pieces that are like-minded. We got to add more talent, more competition that thinks the same way that group of guys in that locker room does. And it's non-negotiable if it's not. There's no level of talent that is worth bringing something that doesn't fit what we're about in there.
Culture, so important to them.
Yes,
and then coming up in sports, we're going to talk about their thoughts on signing free agents.
Got to figure that out too. It is going to be a different team. That's one of the. He said that last night. It's going to be hard to. You just don't keep the same group together every year.
Maybe coordinators, coaches.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
All right. Be sure to send us your thank yous to the Lions for this awesome ride this season. Just point your phone's camera to the QR code right there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and it'll take you right to the section where you can share your photos.
Michigan State Police warning the public about scammers who are posing as officers and requesting money on behalf of the family of a fallen state trooper. MSP says several people have been targeted by scam phone calls. The callers claim that any donated money will go directly to the family of Joel Popp. Popp was hit and killed last week near Birch Run, as we reported, while he was on the side of the road for a traffic stop. Michigan State Police say they will never call you and ask for money. Best way to support Popp's family is by donating to the Michigan State Troopers Assistance Fund. The recent influx in rain, melting snow because of the warmer temperatures, got folks around Orr Lake and Hamburg Township really on edge.
Residents there dealing with flooding, and water has started to seep into some people's homes. Flooding has been a problem in the area for years, and neighbors are now banding together to try to come up with a solution. The group Residents Working Against Huron River Flooding says it's working to identify ways to minimize flooding.
What we're doing is we're actually gathering data on the water coming in upstream to try and see if we can find ways to hold back some of that water so we don't keep getting inundated with all the water coming in.
The water level is expected to rise over the next few days before going back down later in the week, so residents are just hoping water damage is kept to a minimum.
Great Lakes Water Authority crews made significant progress today in Northville as they continue their work to fix a busted water main. A 30-inch break happened early Friday morning on Baseline Road between Novi Street and Oakland Avenue. Over the weekend, crews pumped water out of that affected site, surveyed the pipe. Today, they were able to remove about 16 feet of damaged water line. Officials say they hope to have the repairs completed and then begin pressure testing by the end of the week.
Canton police are working to find answers tonight after a body was found this morning. That body was found near a car on Coppernick Road near Ford Road and I-275. We've been working to get more information from police, but they aren't saying much. So far, authorities are only calling it a death investigation. Folks who live in the area told our crews they heard gunshots, but police did not confirm that. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Some of the 15 accused fake electors in Michigan are expected back in court tomorrow for preliminary exams. Each defendant faces 8 criminal charges, including forgery and conspiracy to commit forgery. These charges stem from allegations they tried to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Michigan in favor of former President Trump. Each defendant has pleaded not guilty to these felony charges.
The HOV lanes along I-75 in Oakland County have been open for a few months now, but the rules haven't really been enforced. Now that's changing, and that's according to state police. MSP announced today troopers will begin enforcement of the HOV lanes effective immediately following the completion of what police call a quote-unquote administrative process with MDOT. The lanes are open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. to cars with 2 or more occupants and for motorcyclists. If you violate those rules, you run the risk of getting a ticket.